Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, thank you for joining me. My name is Cupid, and today we are going to be getting into what makes you beautiful. I haven't done a reading like this in a while. I think I've done a what makes you attractive, I think. But this is a bit different because attraction has a lot more to do with how other people feel about you, right? And their responses to you, right? And it's also generally like romance or relationship focused. This one is a bit more neutral, right? What makes you beautiful, regardless of how anyone feels? What makes you beautiful, regardless of whether or not somebody wants to date you or sleep with you? This is just all about you and why you are beautiful. Okay, so I really hope you guys enjoy this reading. I hope you can get some positivity out of it. Alrighty. And as always, after this intro, you will have 3 images that you can choose from. If you would like, you're welcome to pause the video and meditate on which group you belong to. Okay, so without further ado, I will catch you guys at your reading. Group 1, welcome to your reading, okay? We are going to get into what makes you beautiful. So, before I start shuffling, I just want to give the usual disclaimers that the energy in this reading is fluid. So, take what resonates and leave what does not. Some of these messages may be for you, and some of them might not, okay? So, all right, group 1. What makes group 1 beautiful, Spirit? One card, please. What makes group 1 beautiful? We have the Star. So already I'm getting that you stand out from the crowd. We have 3 of coins. You could be working on something specific, right? Or it could be your job, right? Maybe it's what you do for work that makes you stand out. But the Star here and the 3 of Pentacles, I feel like maybe you could be a celebrity, or something that you do kind of puts you in like the public, right? You have a public persona is what I'm getting with the Star card, and this is kind of how you make money. You don't have to be like a movie star or a musician, but maybe you're a smaller creator of some sort, or a smaller artist of some sort, and you have a following. But I see like this is like your living. How you make a living is through standing out in some sense. For others of you, you could be pursuing, right? So maybe you're not necessarily making like a living yet, but you're pursuing something in the public eye, that can eventually make you some money. It's interesting because, right, we're getting what makes you beautiful, group 1. And maybe it's how you make money that makes you beautiful, or the way you're able to use a talent to make money. It makes you beautiful. And I'm saying it makes you beautiful because it sets you apart. All right. I would like to get another card, Spirit. Just one card. What makes group 1 beautiful? One card. What makes group 1 beautiful, Spirit? We have an Ace of Cups, but this is in reverse. This is in reverse. So, group 1, you could be single. right? And this makes you look very beautiful or seem beautiful. But what I'm picking up on more specifically is that you're not focused on love, right? You're not really focused on relationships. You're not really focused on finding the one, right? With the Ace of Cups, I heard like the one, right? You're not really focused on this happily ever after or this or a relationship, okay? And this makes you very beautiful, okay? Um, right now, I'm not seeing to who. Of course, this is meant to be overall, but you never know. Like, a specific person's perspective could come through if they really want it. But this is like overall, like your aura. It comes off as if you are really focused on your future, right? Via your talent, right? You're very focused on not just showcasing this talent, but developing this talent in order to build this foundation financially, right? You want to be able to sustain yourself and take care of yourself and make money from this endeavor. Um, and that's why you really, to me, it seems like you don't really have time for relationships, or you don't have time to necessarily focus on it or prioritize it. And so what I'm getting is like, you're not the person that's constantly thinking about your hookups or your dates or your partners or lovers or crushes. You're not talking about it a lot. You know, you're not actively on the prowl, or at least, yeah, like you're just not actively doing that. And it adds to your allure. It adds to what makes you, beautiful. At the bottom here, we have the Hierophant, right? And so devotion came to mind, devotion and practice, right? So you are beautiful, or what makes you beautiful is that you are more concerned with your practice, okay? Whatever this might have to do with your talent, right? This might have to do with your talent, but I'm getting that you're more focused on your discipline. You're more focused on being disciplined in your practice, so that you can make this money, right? So that you can build this foundation for yourself. There's a lot of energy here around you, definitely having a lot to give, but not really, you're not focused on giving it to another. You're more focused on building it up and developing what it is that you have, so that you can build yourself up, okay? There is another woman in this image. I feel like I don't know if it's important. Maybe this is another person that is also devoted. So, yeah, I don't know. I get like maybe you could be more focused on building a community, right? And as opposed to this Ace of Cups, which is just like a single partner, you're more focused on this discipline in this practice, bringing you closer to people who are doing the same things, right? So both of these women are kneeling and praying or giving, right? Serving. So it's almost like you're focused on that community, right? Whatever this discipline or whatever this practice is, whatever this talent is, whatever this is that you're standing out for and working on building up, you're looking for people who are kind of into the same thing. And it could be because maybe you're tired of standing out. Maybe you're tired of standing alone, right? I heard spectacle, so maybe sometimes you feel like a spectacle, right? Or maybe sometimes you just feel like just really out of place. You're just, maybe you don't even really like attention, so you feel like you get way too much attention. It's just, unwanted attention. You feel isolated through what it is that you're working towards. So you're focused on really like finding community while also continuing to give to this practice. Okay. I want to get another tarot card, please, Spirit. What makes group 1 beautiful? What makes group 1 beautiful? One card, please. One card, please. What makes group 1 beautiful? Interesting. So we now have 3 aces out here, okay? Spirit really wanted me to get those. We have judgment. Judgment at the bottom of the deck. So I heard priorities, right? You are beautiful, or what makes you beautiful? And I'm honestly feeling like these are like the opinions of spirit or your guides or your ancestors, right? This is like from the spiritual realm. But with this judgment here, you're beautiful because you put shit to rest, okay? You put things to rest. And not only do you put things to rest, you're pretty decisive, right? I see you being somebody who does a good job of, choosing what to focus on, picking and choosing what it is that you need to be focused on. And there's lots of riffraff in this image, right? There's lots of distractions. There's a lot to pay attention to. I also heard a call. So like you feel called to something, right? You're beautiful because you've answered the call, right? It's what Spirit is telling me. You've answered the call that was sent to you, either to like I said, a talent, right? Maybe this talent is your calling, right? But it's like there's an undivided focus here with the Judgment card. Like I said, you're decisive. And what it is that did you judge that you should be focused on right now? And the other pentacles, we have the Ace of Pentacles and we have the Ace of Wands. So we have an Ace of Cups here, which you are not focused on. This was in the reverse. And then we have this Ace of Wands and this Ace of Pentacles. What makes you beautiful is that you're passionate and you're driven. Okay? With the Ace of Wands, you have a fiery spirit, right? You could even be creative, right? With the wands here. But with the star and this image of a candle, right? We're getting flames, we're getting light. And so you are somebody who just stands out, probably just by how you look, right? How you look may be out of the norm. I heard for some of you, you're very attractive. For some of you, you're smoking hot, right? Like, there's something about you that's just really like, oh, wow, that is a bombshell right there. But I'm also getting that you're very bright, right? You're beautiful because you light up a space, right? It could be that you light up the space or that you just light up, and someone or people, multiple, there's an energy here of like an agreement, right? This agreement that like, oh yeah, when this person is around, they are so bright, they are alluring, right? You could lure people to you. People seem drawn to you, right? Oh wow, that's especially with the Judgment. I'm looking at these zombies, like I said, there's a lot of riffraff in this image. There's a lot of zombies, and they're just like, they seem focused on getting to something. And so people just kind of feel drawn to you. Even with the Hierophant, we have these, like I said, these 2 women before this man. It's like people feel you're beautiful because you kind of inspire, right? You kind of inspire others to either do the same types of things as you, or do something else inspired by your actions. People feel lured to your physical self, right? Either to be around you or talk to you. I'm getting followers. So people like following you, people want to follow you. And maybe that's something you're building up, right? Mm-hmm. Hmm. I'm getting something with your hands. With the Ace of Pentacles, this hand is severed. So I feel like there's something about your hands that are very beautiful. Maybe what you do with your hands, right? I'm getting something being woven together, stitched, or something built, something connected, right? So you use your hands to connect things, to build things, to create something. Um, and people find that very attractive. People are, well, this is not about attraction, but this is very beautiful, right? You have a talent. For many of you in this group, there's a talent here that you're building that is going to become a solid force, and it's going to make a living for you, okay? Let's get two message cards, all right? So, Spirit, what makes group one beautiful? What makes group one beautiful? People stare at you for sure. One more card, please. What makes group one beautiful? One more card. Interesting. Interesting. All right. So here we have friend, friend. So with the word friend, I'm getting something very literal, right? Like, you're beautiful because you're a good friend. You could also just be friendly, okay? This makes me think that you are very considerate, right? You're very considerate of your connections, what you give or what you don't give, okay? So that's one thing that makes you beautiful for sure. And I'm also getting that these could be opinions that friends, past, current, or future friends think of you, right? When they think about your beauty, they think about, um, or when they think of you, they think about how you're talented and how you're passionate and you're driven, and this is in discipline, and this makes you beautiful. But they also do think that you're a good friend. So I feel like if anybody is thinking about you, it's probably a friend right now thinking about how beautiful you are. The next card we have is take a bath. So what makes you beautiful? I'm seeing you as somebody who like really prioritizes yourself, right? Self-care. When I think about baths, I think about self-care. I think about hygiene. I think about also routine. I also think about discipline, right? I think about Venus, Aphrodite, right? And the ritual of beauty, right? Beauty requires ritual. Beauty requires discipline. Beauty requires routine, okay? And so I'm definitely getting like physical beauty, right? What makes you beautiful, like physically, is that you take care of yourself, right? You nurture yourself, you give to yourself, okay? So yeah, lots of some Aphrodite vibes in this group. At the bottom here, we have material. And so I feel like what makes you beautiful in regards to this card is that anything can be made into something. When it comes to you, you're optimistic and you're innovative, right? You have an abundance mindset. And so anything can be material, whether it's writing material, music material, maybe it's literal physical materials that can be sculpted into something or used to fix something, right? You are the type of person, I heard inventory, right? Of you take account the material at your disposal, the resources at your disposal. So I'm getting what makes you beautiful is that you really know how to use your resources, all right? And this second card, I think, ties hand in hand. It says, a great traveler is attentive to their surroundings. So you're somebody who's attentive, right? Detail oriented. This is a skill or a trait that is necessary for you to be able to be innovative and to use material for this, that, and the third, right? It's because you're attentive, right? You take inventory of these materials because you're attentive. So when people are like, what do? I don't know what to do. You tell them about something that you noticed 3 weeks ago. Oh, there's a broom in that closet over there. They're like, oh, there's a broom in the closet? Yeah, last week I noticed that there was a broom in the closet, right? Or it could be something that simple. It can also be something more complex where you're more of a strategist, right? So you're able to spot things and then maneuver based on what you've noticed, right? And so you're coming out very beautiful because you're, like I said, we're going back to that discipline here. You have a disciplined mind, right? You're driven and you have a focus that you're committed to, right? You have a practice that you're committed to. You have a talent that you're committed to developing. And with this focused mindset, you have developed a great sense of detail, right? Um, and people kind of find this to just be kind of fascinating, right? You just have solutions on solutions on solutions, all right? But anyway, group one, that is what makes you beautiful. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did and or it resonated, then go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment, and if you would like to be notified whenever I post new videos, then make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Bye, group one. Hi, group two. Welcome to your reading. We're going to hop right in and get into what makes you beautiful, okay? But before I start shuffling, I just want to give the usual disclaimer that all energy in this reading is fluid. So please take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If it's not for you, then it's probably for somebody else, okay? So anyway, let's go ahead and get right in. Group two, okay? I want to know what makes you beautiful. What makes group two beautiful, Spirit? What makes group two beautiful? What makes group two beautiful, Spirit? One card, please. What makes group two beautiful? We have the Seven of Swords. Interesting. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Swords. Ooh. Interesting. I'm getting a damsel, right? I'm getting, with the Four of Swords here at the bottom, I'm getting somebody, like Snow White, right? I'm getting Snow White in the glass coffin, right? Before the prince comes. And I'm seeing somebody who, with the Four of Swords, you were put there because of a tough situation. With the Seven of Swords that came out, this makes me believe that the situation that put you in this period of rest or recovery, it could have been some type of betrayal, okay? It could have been some type of infidelity, but I'm definitely getting an energy of something done behind your back, right? And this is something that you spotted. You were able to notice either through some type of evidence that was presented to you or just from basic observation. I'm not sure how this got to you, But I'm seeing here um, a scenario where you were essentially like betrayed and hurt, right? You were hurt in a deceiving manner. Um, and with the Four of Swords here, you kind of had to go into some type of recovery. Okay. I want to get another card, Spirit. What makes group 2 beautiful? I'm a little confused. What makes group 2 beautiful, Spirit? Just one card. What makes group 2 beautiful, Spirit? What makes group 2 beautiful? Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups. Okay. I'm getting somebody who has some huge or just large boobs, okay, already. With the Queen of Cups, I'm getting this image of like somebody very sweet, right? I'm getting like, oh my, but she's so sweet. You handle things with grace, is what I'm getting, okay? This is what makes you beautiful, group 2. You handle betrayal, deceit, infidelity, bullshit, right? You handle that shit with grace, all right? Just letting you know. So with the groups now, I don't always like, I don't have you guys pick based on an object that I have. I usually pick the images after the reading has been done. But during the reading, I will have like a crystal. And I usually just have a different crystal for each group so that I can like focus on that group, and I can hold the crystal. And so basically for your group, you got a black tourmaline, right? So this is about protection, okay? Or this is in regards to your protection, how you protect yourself, okay? And so what makes you beautiful is that you kind of don't go low, right? You don't go low with these people. With the Seven of Swords, it's like you spot the betrayal, right? Or you acknowledge the betrayal when it happens, or whenever you take notice of this betrayal, I'm seeing you as somebody who acts accordingly. And with the Four of Swords, right, you don't go toe to toe with this person. You're not going to fight this person. You're not going to do anything to this person or these people. But when it comes to the actual connection, you lay it to rest, right? You lay it to rest, you bury it. You do what you need to do to recover, and you move on. With the Queen of Cups, you're somebody who is sweet. You're giving, you're nurturing, you're loving, all of that. But with this Knave of Swords that came out at the bottom of the deck, or we can call this a Page of Swords, is that you had to put certain people or certain things behind you. Okay? And so I'm getting people who watch you from the shadows, right? These could be old friends or old partners that kind of watch you from the shadows, right? They kind of watch you from their safe vantage point. So it could be through social media, or maybe they ask around about you, or they just be listening in. Either way, they be keeping up with you, right? Maybe they're scrolling Facebook and you post on Facebook, okay? But either way, these people that did you wrong, or they're weird, or they're shady, or whatever, you turn your back to them. You turn your back to them, and you put up that block, right? Because there's all these swords. So far, I have 3 cards with swords and just 1 queen, right? So you've been hurt, but you are not going to let that hurt keep you from being the abundant, beautiful, and loving Queen of Cups. No, you just put up the boundaries, right? And like I said, this makes you very beautiful because you never change, right? Or you don't shape shift into this demon, right? You are sweet when people meet you. You're sweet during the bullshit and the fuckery, and then you're sweet after. Even if you have to defend yourself, you don't stop being the sweet Queen of Cups. you just shut those people out, right? You handle it, but you shut them out. You're not going to just become this bitter, angry person. And yeah, Spirit finds that very beautiful. Let's get another card, please. I want to get one more card. What makes group 2 beautiful? What makes group 2 beautiful? One card, please. What makes group 2 beautiful? We have the Seven of Swords again. You have the Seven of Swords again. And then at the bottom of the deck here, we have Six of Pentacles. So you match energy is what I feel, right? If they give you 3 pentacles, you give them 3 pentacles. They give you 1 pentacle, you give them 1 pentacle. They give you 7 swords in your back, or they give you 5 swords in your back. Okay. You freeze them out. You starve them out. You block them, right? When people show you disrespect, or when people hurt you, when all you've done is give, you have no problem cutting them off, right? When I see the swords, I see really like a declaration. Okay? It's like a declaration. Like, you didn't kill me. Okay? You didn't kill me. I see what you're doing. Right? I see who you are. And so the fact that you're kind of able to face people's swords, and maybe this is something that's happened to you multiple times where people have, you know, kind of made you a villain or betrayed you and hurt you, right? This has happened to you before. And it's like, anytime this happens, like I said, you don't argue with them. You don't go back and forth. You're not going to do your best to prove to them that you didn't deserve it. You're just going to act accordingly. And you're going to take that time to recover, and you're going to move forward. And that alone proves that you were always this queen, regardless of what they wanted to claim, regardless of what they wanted to label you as, right? You're still this queen. You're not going to change from this queen just because, you know, you're not going to come down from your throne just because a peasant threw a rock. Okay? Not to say this other person is a peasant, but just because they want to fight you doesn't mean you have to fight them back. Just because they don't like you doesn't mean you have to hate them back. Just because they want to do the tussle don't mean you have to tussle with them, right? It's almost like you do a good job of maintaining the character that you portray yourself as, right? It's almost like you are who you say you are. And I think that's why this Knave of Swords is here to show that after you cut people off, right, you gave to them, you nurtured them, you loved them. But after they did you dirty and you cut them off, they are still watching you. And some of them, they are still watching you because they're waiting. They're waiting for you to get down on their level, right? They're waiting for you to show that you're not really as good as you say you are. You're not really as loving or sweet. It's almost like they need to prove to themselves that you were deserving of the treatment they gave you. Others are just watching you because they just really can't believe it. They're just like, wow, they really nice. Wow, they really were sweet. Oh my God. It's like they see you on social media and they just have to stop and just be like, wow, they really did what they said they were going to do. They really are who they said they are. Wow, all this time has passed and they're minding their own business. They're living a happy life and they're not trying to get revenge on me. They're not hating on me. They're not talking about me to other people. See, it has people kind of like stuck. And yes, I think these people think you're beautiful who are watching, but it's more so Spirit is telling you that this is what makes you beautiful. You are beautiful because you don't let bullshit, fuckery, bad treatment from others. You don't let that take you down from your throne. You know how to deal with the situation and put it to rest. Okay? So I want to get 2 message cards for you, group 2. Can I please get a card? What makes group 2 beautiful? What makes group 2 beautiful? What makes group 2 beautiful? Okay, I need one more card. What makes group 2 beautiful? One card, please. What makes group 2 beautiful? What makes group 2 beautiful? Okay, this is the card Spirit wants. Oh my God, y'all. You have haters. You have haters. You have people who are jealous of you and who project it. And they treat you mean because they be jealous. That's crazy. But no, I get it. I get it. The first card we have is search with your eyes, then with your hands. I'm going to say that one more time. Search with your eyes, then with your hands. You make sure to discern before you act. Very important, right? You make sure to read the room, read the situation. You determine what you need to do before you do it. You're not a person who acts from a place of emotion. Even though this Queen of Cups is here, I'm seeing somebody who is very composed, right? Yes, you're full of love. Yes, you're full of emotion. Yes, you're full of empathy, sympathy, all of that. You're full of it. But you are not impulsive with your emotions. And this is why people can't get you off your throne. This is why you don't come out of character, right? Because you're not ruled by your emotions. You're not governed by how you feel, and you don't act impulsively. You take your time to assess, and then you make your move, right? And that's why your move is often shutting the shit down, right? Because, I mean, when you find out that a friend is doing you dirty, or a partner is doing you dirty, or a job is doing you dirty, when you find out those things, once you assess and gather the information, a lot of times the only true resolution is to leave, right? Because that's the only thing that's going to end the conflict, right? If you choose to go back and forth, you prolong this conflict. And so I'm getting you're a solution-oriented person, right? So for you, when a conflict comes along, when a Seven of Swords situation comes along, you're not going to just, pop off. No. You're not going to pop off. You're going to take some time. You're going to evaluate. You're going to regroup if necessary. And then you are going to execute, whatever decision you've decided to employ, okay? So that's when that Four of Swords comes in, because you said, okay, all right, put it to rest. Okay, bury it, right? You're dead to me. And I think this is triggering for people, and it can be jarring for people, but just understand that it makes you very, very beautiful, because you're not a ticking time bomb, right? Like, what did I say before? Did I say reserved? Composed, right? You have a composure about you, very mature, very demure, okay? Like I said, you're not popping off, right? You just prove it with your actions, right? It's kind of like, I'm not going to fight you, I'm going to sue you. I'm not going to raise hell, I'm going to sue you. I'm not going to I'm going to send you a cease and desist. And if you don't shut up, I'm going to sue you, right? So it's like, you just take the high route. You take the mature route. You take the big girl, big boy route. You're not hanging around on the playground playing reindeer games. You don't do that. If something's not right, you handle it and get the F out of Dodge, okay? And that's just like, when I tell you, it preserves your image so much. It preserves your sanity and peace of mind so much, right? That's why you're also you're peaceful. You don't have a desire to do bad by people. You don't, because you're happy with yourself, right? You are happy with yourself. You are fulfilled within yourself. So you don't have these urges to go off and prove something to somebody, no, okay? At the bottom of the deck here, We have anticipate the impact of your actions, right? Oh my God, this goes hand in hand. You think about how your actions are going to affect not just others, but yourself. You are considerate. You are considerate, okay? And this is what makes you beautiful, because you only act if you can stand by it. You only act if you can defend those actions later. You make decisions about your actions based on your desired outcome. And I know that sounds crazy, but other people don't do this. A lot of people don't do this. A lot of people do not make decisions about what they're going to do based on the outcome they want. Instead, they make decisions based on how they feel. And then they get upset when the outcome is not what they want. But a lot of times you can predict what the outcome will be. You can say, okay, if I act like this, the outcome will be that. If I yell and shout at my teacher, I'm going to get put out of class. If I don't do my homework, I'm going to get an F. If I don't get to the bus stop on time, I'm going to miss my bus. So you make decisions based on what you want the outcome to be. You say, you know what? I don't want to throw hands. I don't want to throw hands with Sally. So guess what? I'm going to go to the principal. Sally mad and she feeling some type of way because you went to the principal. But at the end of the day, Sally's the one getting suspended every other week. She's the one failing. She's the one having a hard time in school. You said, you know what? I don't like hardship. I don't like being suspended. I don't like having all these extra problems on my plate. So I'm not going to do the thing that I know is going to get me suspended. And that's what makes you beautiful. Very mature, right? It's almost also kind of like motherly and like an authoritative kind of way, right? Like you set the example, okay? You raise the bar. You like, no. We're not getting down and dirty with the pigs. We're going to stay up here. We're going to operate on our level. And people like you or people who are inspired by you, they will be looking at you like, oh yeah, I'm going to do what they're doing because I don't want to be hanging out with the pigs. I like her level. I like the level that they are on. So let me be on that level. Okay. And yeah, that's why I said like that's why you got people watching, because they're like, wow, they really live up to their standards every day. You live up to your own standards every day. Okay. The last card here we have, or it's not the last, but the last two cards here we have envy, right? So why do people be getting buck with you? Why do people be doing you dirty randomly? Like, why do you have these seven of swords? You have two seven of swords and then a four of swords. It's because envy. People be jealous, okay? And this is like a projected energy, right? Where the way you operate makes people feel less than, right? Or some people, the way you operate or handle yourself, it can trigger in other people a feeling of not being good enough and wanting what you have, okay? And a lot of times, because people can't have what you have, not really, like people can't be you. So what ends up happening is that once that envy, blossoms, that's when they start doing you dirty, stabbing you in the back, lying to you, because they can't be you. So they have to project their insecurity in another way, right? They have to soothe their ego in another way, right? And usually that ends up with treating you badly, okay? At the bottom of the deck here, we have excuse. So I'm getting you're somebody who you don't have a lot of excuses, right? You don't give a lot of excuses, right? Like I said, you kind of just do what you said you're gonna do. You just be the type of person you say you're gonna be, and you don't accept excuses from others. And that makes you very beautiful for sure, because this keeps your value high. And I know that sounds like really like what, but when you have boundaries and people cross those boundaries and you act accordingly, right? AKA implementing some type of, I don't want to say punishment, because we don't have to punish people, but you implement a consequence, right? This is you valuing yourself. And this is you telling or showing, not telling other people that if they can't value you at the same level, you're not going to deal with it. Okay? So you don't make excuses for others and you don't make excuses for yourself. This is a group that has like a lot of self-respect. And I think more than anything, that's what Spirit wants you to know makes you so beautiful, is that you have so much self-respect and you hold yourself to this high standard and you keep your composure even when you're treated in ways that you really didn't deserve to be treated as. Okay? So that's all I have for you today, Group 2. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment. And if you would like to be notified whenever I post new videos, then please subscribe and ring that notification bell. Bye, Group 2. Hi, Group 3. Welcome to your reading. We're going to get right into what makes you beautiful. But before I start shuffling, I just want to give the usual disclaimer that all energy in these readings are fluid. So please take what resonates and leave what does not. If it is not for you, then it may just be for somebody else. Okay? So, Group 3, we want to know what makes you beautiful. So let's get into it. Spirit, what makes Group 3 beautiful? What makes Group 3 beautiful? We have Page of Wands here, and then we have 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So, with this Page of Wands, I'm not going to lie, I heard young minds. So, you could be young, right? Or you could work with young people, right? You could work with children. If you don't work with children, you may have a lot of children, right? We have this 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and of course here in this image you have like these 2 turtles, a mommy and daddy turtle, presumably, and they're surrounded by 8 more turtles. And so yeah, I'm hearing young minds. And so there's something very beautiful about how you interact with younger children. And I'm definitely getting multiple children at the scene at one time. With the Page of Wands here, I'm getting people learning to do a skill, but it's not necessarily academic. So I'm seeing like you're very beautiful in the way that you're able to appeal to and cultivate the passions of these children, right? Their creativity, their imagination, right? Even things like leadership skills. With Wands, I think about being assertive, right? So there's something here about how you nurture this wand energy in children, whether it's through creativity or how they express themselves physically. You could be maybe a PE teacher or an art teacher. You could be a babysitter. You could be a nanny. There's a lot of things here, but if none of those specific roles are accurate to you, it's really just more so about how you, like I said, nurture that wand energy in children. Okay, I want to get another card. Okay, Group 3. What makes Group 3 beautiful, Spirit? What makes Group 3 beautiful? What makes Group 3? What makes Group 3 beautiful? What makes Group 3 Beautiful, Spirit. Just one card. What makes group 3 beautiful? Ooh, I heard come again. I heard come again. More cups. Okay, so we have the Knave of Cups and then we have Four of Cups. So when I see this Four of Cups, I'm seeing you kind of reprimand somebody, right? Kind of telling them about their options, right? And it's almost like I'm getting processing. Okay, so you're very beautiful the way you're able to, not necessarily how you process your emotions, but how you help others process their emotions. So we have 2 pages already, right? We have a page of cups and a page of wands. So I'm still getting this young minds. With this knave of chalices, in the image, he's like writing something and then he balls it up. He's frustrated. And it just makes me think of a student that is having a difficult time finding the right thing to say, finding the right thing to writing something down correctly, right? Doing something correctly or efficiently, right? But this is with the cups, so like expressing their emotions, communicating their emotions. With this Four of Cups, it's almost like you're schooling somebody on their options. And that's why I said come again. It's almost like somebody didn't approach you correctly or didn't approach a situation correctly. And you're kind of like, yes, it's a reprimand, but it's also like a redirect. You're helping them. You're like, okay, let's look at what we can do. Yes, you didn't like Billy, and you hit him. Was hitting him the right thing to do? No. What other things did we talk about that you can do when you have conflict? Well, I can tell the teacher, I can go sit by myself and cool off, or however much, I work in schools, so that's a bit of lore about me. I work in schools, so I work with kids. But yeah, I'm seeing this Four of Cups as you kind of like helping them work through that process of determining the best way to respond to a situation. Okay, and so what makes you beautiful is I'm getting that your way of reaching those that seek guidance from you, right? How you're able to articulate to those who seek guidance from you. And of course, ultimately, the guidance. These are people or kids. It could be maybe you work with adults. Maybe you're a counselor. It really doesn't matter. But it's like the way you're able to work with them, it really does pull something out of them that maybe others haven't seen. You really help people work through new solutions. Okay? I want to get another card. Spirit, what makes group 3 beautiful? What makes group 3 beautiful? You release these chains, right? We have 8 of Swords, and then we have Strength at the bottom of the deck. And so in your spread's kind of unique to me, because I feel like at the bottom here, all the cards that came out are other people, right? And then all the bottom deck energy is how you affect them, okay? So with this 8 of Swords here, I'm seeing that you work with people who may feel trapped, they may feel stuck. I'm getting difficulty, so I'm hearing this is hard. I don't know what to do. And with the Strength card, and then he literally has an axe. So this person, he can axe or cut off the ties around this girl's wrists. He can help break free from this prison of swords. Maybe swords of not knowing what to say. not knowing how to communicate. We just had an Ace of Swords right underneath this strength, right? So I'm getting that you may deal with some passionate people, right? No matter the age. But they're like students. And these are people that they may have a lot of emotional responses that they're still learning to work through. And with the strength here, I feel like you literally give them the strength to break free of these patterns that they feel imprison them, right? You use your strength, but you also, I'm getting like, you demonstrate strength, right? You model strength, right? If you're also a teacher or you work with children, then you know what I mean by model, right? Modeling is so important because sometimes with kids, they just don't like visualization, right? So you could tell them to do something, but if they can't envision it and they've never done it before, they've never seen it before, it may be damn near impossible for them to really implement your advice. So modeling really helps break down barriers of understanding. Okay, and so I feel like, yeah, like you work with people who feel very much trapped by some of their circumstances, by maybe their inability. I'm getting definitely an inability to read or write, right? People, and I was actually talking. I was at a school today, and I was talking to the librarian, and we were talking about, like, if you can't read, your comprehension is low. So you'll have difficulty writing. And more than having difficulty writing, you're going to have difficulties articulating your needs. You're going to have difficulties, problem solving, right? Even conflict resolution with a pal, because you don't know how to articulate yourself as best you can, right? So I'm definitely, maybe you're a literature teacher, or maybe you just work with young people who just need that guidance. But if it's not young people, I definitely feel like you, and these could be your own children, right? With the 10 of Cups, this could be your very own children. But we have 9 of Cups at the bottom. So I feel like for some of you, this is your own children. And for others of you, it's more like you're an instructor or a mentor or some type of guide for younger people. And they're struggling. They're struggling with their passions, their emotions, their immaturity, right? They're struggling. And you seem like, what makes you very beautiful is that like I said, you're a guide for them, and you set a good example, and I feel like you give them the confidence, right? I want to get 2 message cards. What makes group 3 beautiful? What makes group 3 beautiful? What makes group 3 beautiful? 1 card, please. What makes you beautiful? What makes group 3 beautiful, Spirit? Okay. Interesting. So, group 3. The first card we have here is a clock is a tower. Okay, a clock is a tower. So I'm getting here, like, you use your time wisely. Okay, I heard time is of the essence when I was shuffling. And so what makes you beautiful is that whatever this is that you're doing, helping people, you take it very seriously, and you use the time that you spend with them very wisely, right? When I think of a tower, I think of, like, an ending. I think of a chime, an alarm. And so it's almost like you only have so little time or so much time with these people. And you don't want it to go to waste, okay? And you want to make sure that when they walk away from you, they walked away with something, a new foundation, right? The time they spend with you is going to allow them to build a new and stronger foundation, okay? At the bottom here, we have questions reveal motives and intentions. And so you ask a lot of questions. I see you as somebody who, like, you really involve them when it comes to figuring out what they're going through and solving things. You don't just make an assumption and roll with it. You ask them questions. And I'm also getting, for many of you, especially if you work with kids, you really encourage them to ask questions. Maybe not to you or to other people, but to themselves, right? Asking themselves, how do you feel? What do you want to say? What did you wish happened? What could you have done differently, right? And so you are really good at asking questions and getting them to ask questions so that they can get to these conclusions or these solutions more efficiently, right? Going back to using that time wisely, very constructive energy, right? You have a constructive way about you. You are an instructor or a mentor of some sense, right? We also got serious. So like I said, like, you take this very seriously, and that's what makes you very beautiful, is that this is not a game. This is not just a way to pass the time. This is like something you're devoted to, or it's a calling. And if not, it's something that you just don't take it lightly, right? This is important, and the outcome, there's a lot of stakes in it, right? So these could be your own kids. Whether it's your own kids, or it's a class full of kids, or maybe it's a class full of adults, or maybe you're a counselor, or maybe you're one of these, right? You do not take the time spent as just time passing, right? This is what you came to do. You came to help them. And so it's like, once you step on the scene, once the clock starts, you're on your mission. Okay? And that makes you very beautiful. So much so that the bottom of the deck card is the word beautiful. To me, this is, you're in service to your community. And right underneath beautiful, we had the word fraud, but in reverse, right? So it's like, there is no fraudulent behavior with you. What makes you beautiful in this sense is that you really do care, right? It's not fake sincerity. It's not fake love. It's not fake concern. You really, really care. And the people or the kids who work with you, they repeat this sentiment to other people. They're like, oh no, I feel like Mr. or Mrs. such and such, they really care. Like, when I'm talking to them, I really feel like they get me, and I really feel like they're standing with me, and I really feel like they know where I'm coming from, and I feel like the advice that they give has really been helping me. And there's a level of trust here that the people you work with they have with you, because you're proving it over and over and over again that this is not just something to do. You see this as like a purpose. Okay? So anyway, that's really all I have for you today. Group 3. This reading was a little bit shorter than the other 2 readings, but my bad. Anyway, if you enjoyed this reading and or it resonated, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment. And if you would like to be notified whenever I post new videos, then please make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Bye, Group 3.